Time for a new video. Hail and well met. 'Tis I Bard, pronouns they, them, and she, her, welcoming you once again to the Mad Realm. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how I took my art and hobby box from this, your average, top-of-the-line art bin container, all the way to this. Ooh. An absolute beast of a container. So, without further ado, before I destroy my back and every single muscle in my arms, let's get into it, shall we? Now, if you're anything like me, you're typically on the run when it comes to your art and your hobby. You're going places, whether it be from your friendly local game store to work, to even class like I do. Ultimately, you're on the run. And unfortunately, being on the run all the time means that you don't have a really stable hobby space, nor do you have the opportunity to really burrow into your own space and to spread out however you want. Now, just because you don't have that kind of space does not devalue you as an artist or as a hobbyist in any form. In fact, it is one of the many marks of, I would say, greatness that you can find versatility and make the best of whatever situation you're in. But we must always remember that just because we are in a compromised position does not mean that we have to compromise quality or our integrity when it comes to our art and our hobby. Something that we should always remember, especially in the hobby that we have, this art form that requires us to buy the kits to actually put together and then paint, and where tools are considered like a secondary item, that we oftentimes spend more money on the miniatures than we do the actual tools and carrying systems that we have. Nowadays, we have a plethora of containers, storage systems, and anything else you can think of. Whether it is the more top of the line stuff that is carved out from FDM and has magnetic trays, or is just a simple bin that you had found lounging about at some big box store, both are valuable. However, I'm going to be focusing on how you can start to customize them. And I'm going to use my own recent venture to help you with that. So, if we start to look at this big old boy, which is a Stanley based, hardware container. I literally found the box at the hardware store. You see that there is 3 qualities that stand out. The first is its size. I don't have the exact dimensions on me, but it big, which is perfect, especially if you're storing your artistic supplies in there. Because it is not just paint that we have to worry about, but also our brushes, where we're going to be storing our hobby snips, our hobby knives, everything else that we're thinking of, including some specialty items, such as green stuff, milliput, bases, whatever you can think of. More space is always good, especially if you're like me and who uses a lot of tools at the same time, and having to basically go through the collection, deconstruct it, get what you need, put it into a box, and then when you're done, put that stuff back into the box and reconstruct everything can be a bit taxing, especially if you have to do it multiple times a day. Something as large as this big girl that I have is absolutely perfect. Now, the reason why I chose this is because the second quality. Oftentimes, hardware boxes are made to carry hardware. Yeah, it's a revolutionary idea, I know. And with that, what it is based on weight. Tools that people who work in more physical industries use are heavy. They're most all metal. And of course, they rattle around, they bang, and cause damage. Luckily, we're in an art sphere that we're not going to have to worry about a whole lot of that. The only thing you'll have to worry about would be, maybe uncapping a X-Acto blade. That can cause problems, or maybe glue spills. That would be horrible. Or the worst case scenario, which I have had happen to me a few times with something like the art bin, just due to the dimensions of GW paint pots, is that the paint pots open up due to pressure that is put on them and they spill everywhere. I have lost 3 contrast paints to this, and if I may please have a moment of silence for them. It's annoying and saddening when you find that happen. But with a toolbox, such as the one that I have gotten from Ace, the helpful hardware place, of the brand Stanley, you're not going to have to worry about anything rattling around, knocking about, and causing damage to the goods inside or to the actual container itself. Our supplies are relatively small and practically weightless, so you're not going to have to worry about things opening up unless you did not close them tight enough. And then the third quality as to why I chose that hardware box, that toolbox, is because of its multifaceted body. Now you might be asking, what do I mean by a multifaceted body? Well, my friends, this is a multi-layered container storage box item. So at the top, there are 2 like little areas where you can store things. I will show you them now. And that you can put a whole bunch of bits even, if you're using this to kit bash and to convert stuff, as well as a bunch of other small supplies. And with it, inside, you have 2 containers. You have the large belly where you can store most of your items, and you have a shallow tray that simply slides on top. There are no latches that you have to physically press down on. All you have to do is put the tray in, and you're good to go. And it is that shallow basin which will allow me to separate my paints and my brushes, which I'm keeping in a separate bag / container, from things such as my hobby knives, my glues, and other such things, which, if they do rattle around, do have the possibility of opening up, or would just be a hassle to try and dig through. You'll see later on in the video that my paints aren't organized too well. I literally just sort of dump them all in, but that's because it works for me. If I have all of my paints spread out in front of me for me to look at, I get a bit of analysis paralysis. The hunt works best for me. But if you are not that type of person, it might be useful to try and find very small separation bins that you can put inside. Or if you're craftier, you can create them out of wood or plastic or what have you. Even Legos might be a good idea to use. Or the simple method of separating stuff into bags and putting it in the box. No matter what method you choose, it is valid, and as long as it works for you, that's all that matters. Now, unfortunately, the box itself was a bit too bland for my taste. So, what I decided to do was customize it. And at first, what I did was I went outside, took a rattle can primer from Rust-Oleum 2X primers, God's gift to humanity, as Wylock's Armory says, in this case black, and I sprayed the parts that I did not really want to have that one color, in this case yellow. Now, I was originally going to spray paint the whole thing, but I didn't have any varnish and I didn't really want to go out and get any, so I was just like, I'll just paint these two parts. Plus, um, I thought for the future it would be very difficult to meld properly with the stickers that I place upon it later. When paint clings onto something, if you put a sticker onto it or tape, if you need to, for some reason, peel off the sticker, it can take the paint off it. Or if you need to, like, put tape on it, the same thing can happen. And having to repaint it, especially with something like spray paint, it's more of a hassle than not. So I just kept most all the black box black and painted the two yellow parts that I didn't like being yellow purple. Now, of course, I did fail in the masking off part on some instances, but that can always be fixed later with a bit of paint. Once I had that all done, I took it indoors, let the sweet smell of primer and spray paint lingering in the air just waft into my lungs, once again oh, just making it an absolute majesty. The like one working lung that I have is it's probably rainbow now. Yeah. But enough about that. The second step that I took in customizing it was taking acrylic paint, in this case utilizing Posca paint markers, simply because I had them and wanted to use them, to sort of work in some details. I chose this on the two purple doors just so there was a bit more definition and customization onto it without going right onto that raw, grainy plastic that most all of the box is made of. If you're going to be working on that type of substance, beware because it can ruin the tips of paintbrushes or of pens or paint pens or whatever else you're using. And then lastly, the other thing that I did was took all the stickers that I got from Adepticon and started placing them all over the box. Note these are just a small assortment of stickers that I'm going to be adding for the future. I want to cover this box as much as I can in the stickers of the people that I love and appreciate, fellow content creators and the like. And this is something that I want to start building for, bringing it everywhere that I can. If somebody has a sticker for me, I will slap it on. As long as, it's reasonable. I don't want someone walking up and like handing me a sticker that says I hate minorities. No, I don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with that. No. Um yeah, that was it. And as you can see, this box is serving me very well. Yes, the setup is rather scattered, but it works well for me. I have all the places that I can store my things. They're easily in accessible reach. And I feel that with this setup now, rather than having to search around my room or having to pick for anything, I can just have it in one neat storage facility. And though it may be heavy as hell, it'll be easy. It'll be much easier than having to make multiple trips back and forth. And plus, as they say, art and beauty is pain, right? And though I can't really feel it, who knows? Maybe one day you'll see me with a completely like buff arm. Insert jokes here about just one single buff arm. And then I'm just swinging around paint. Who knows? That may happen, that may not. Oh. But that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a glorious day. My name has been Bard. My pronouns are they, them, and she, her. And always remember, make chaos reign. Bye-bye.
Way up on the mountainside, look what I found. Great big man tracks sinking in the ground. It's a legendary Sasquatch they're all harping on, but old Big